Hello, David Moore with Equity Advantage. And today's first question is, can I exchange out of one property into multiple properties? And the second part is going to be, how can a 1031 exchange expert help me? So part one, exchanging one property for multiple, I think is probably one of the big misunderstandings in the code, and it's really dictated by the identification rules. You've got three different identification rules. Anyone that's been through the 1031 exchange probably is aware that that timeline and those ID rules are the biggest headache with any transaction. But each ID rule works independently of the others. So the first ID rule says you can ID up to three properties of any value, pretty self-explanatory. Second rule says you can ID more than three properties. Total value of the properties ID'd can't exceed 200% of the relinquished property's value. I guess you've got to look at what's a property worth. Is a property, does it have to be on the market to be considered something to be ID'd? And I get a kick out of that question because if I go back into 1990, let's say, and look back in audit manual, one of the questions was the property listed at the time of identification, which is really totally irrelevant. Does a property have to be listed to be purchased or sold? Obviously, no. So once again, three properties, 200% rule. And the third option is you can exceed three properties. You can exceed 200% of that relinquished property in value, but you'd have to close 95% of the aggregate value of all properties identified. That third rule basically means you're going to have to close everything that's identified. Not many people want to really work with that, but it's out there. It typically is going to be a situation where I'm going to encourage people to just get the deal done inside the 45 days. We had a client years ago that bought 24 different replacement properties, closed them all inside the 45-day ID period, which is certainly the safe way to do it. She was a CPA. She understood the repercussions of a failure in that situation. So once again, three property rule, 200% rule, 95% rule. You can do anything you want as long as you get it done inside that 45 days. So there is no limit to what you can buy. It's wide open. It really comes down to how hard you want to work to make things happen and how well you want to be able to sleep at night, I guess. So part B, how can a 1031 exchange expert help me? Well, I guess you have to look at it a couple different ways. An accommodator, facilitator, intermediary, we're paid a fee to take part in a transaction. We're not going to work in an agency capacity with somebody. We're paid a fee to handle that transaction. And an exchange expert is really going to do their best to keep you out of any potential problems, to make sure to take a look at what that transaction entails. We want to know what's going on when we first talk to you, what you're giving up, where you want to go. Probably going to do whatever we can to minimize the time constraints, the problems with the time constraints. And if we see anything like seller carryback, changes in vesting, we're going to take a look at those things and hopefully get you on track early, sooner rather than later, which comes back down to when we'd like to hear about that transaction. If you give us a call and the property's closing today, we can probably get the transaction done, but we're not going to have much time to fix anything. If you give us some time, we can take a look at the deal, understand your objectives, and really make sure we're doing everything we can to make sure to get you where you want to go. So once again, David Moore with Equity Advantage. Thanks for coming and joining us today. And you can find us at 1031exchange.com. Thank you.